Lose my mind. So I just recorded a full UFC 311 predictions video, and when I go to edit, it was on mute. So round two, I'm gonna do this again. That was like a 25-minute video, so it's probably gonna be a little shorter. I'm not gonna go as in depth. But hey guys, I'm the MMA casual. UFC 311, a week away, guys, starting 2025 with a fantastic card. You're gonna hear me say this a lot throughout this video, but a lot of these odds I don't agree with. They're too spread out. But what that does for us, it kind of shies us away from our locks. And maybe sometimes you want to lean a little more to an underdog because they have better value. But a lot of these spreads I don't agree with, especially in the main card. Anyway, I'm the MMA casual. If you're new here, be sure to follow. We're about almost 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's been a slow climb on YouTube, but you guys do enjoy the videos. And then on Instagram, 85,000 followers. So go check that out. And if you subscribe for $5 a month, you get all my exclusive bets. You're going to love it. You're not going to regret it. Either way, I'm going to do the full card. If you don't want that, just be sure to fast forward. But I am going to be breaking down the early prelims and prelims rather quickly. Okay. Tagir Ulanbekov, Clayton Carpenter, guys. Tagir coming in as the minus 325 favorite. Carpenter plus 220 underdog. I will be honest, Tagir Ulanbekov should win this fight. I think he is the superior grappler, but he gets taken down very easily. With that being said, if Clayton Carpenter is the one applying the pressure and gets a takedown or two against Tagir, if he's able to keep him down, that's control time. And now we're looking at a different fight. I think Clayton Carpenter could steal a round. Maybe the prop bet here is Clayton Carpenter plus 3.5 in points. I think it goes to decision, but ultimately I think Tagir is more experienced. I think he's the better grappler. I think he should be okay. But Clayton Carpenter could give us an upset to start the night. At plus 220, you could look at some value here. But I think minus 325 is a little too much of a spread for Tagir Ulanbekov in this fight. Moving on, Ricky Tercios, Bernardo Suai, both guys coming off a loss. Suai, hopefully, his chin gets back to where it needs to be, but he got tested, and I'm not too concerned about Ricky Tercios putting out Suai. I think Supai is the better fighter, but Ricky Tercios, man, he could definitely steal a fight with all his volume and output. He's a guy who's an energizer bunny, and for 15 minutes, he's going to come at you, and he's going to land 100 significant strikes on you. So what are you going to do about it, Supai? In my opinion, I think Supai is going to grapple. I think he's going to be able to keep Tercios at bay. I think he is the more experienced fighter as far as UFC level fights. So I'm gonna say Supai has dealt with better competition. And again, that's me, with a little bit of a stretch of an opinion there. But Tercios coming in as a plus 250 underdog and Supai coming in as a minus 375. What I will say is odds are nuts. Supai is not a minus 375 favor here, although I do think he's the better mixed martial artist. I think he could control this fight. I think he could grapple with Ricky Tercios. I think he'll be okay, but 375 is just bananas. So I don't agree with it, but he should win this fight. Maybe some value in the underdog there if you're a Tercios fan. Now, pretty straightforward. Muin Gafurov is coming in at plus 300. He's a great mixed martial artist, guys, an all-around good fighter. I know he doesn't look like a fighter, but he definitely is one. The problem is he's going against Rena Nakamura, who is a very experienced grappler. And when you come into MMA with that much of a gap in the grappling department, and what I mean by gap is his skill set, it's so advanced. And I think Gafurov doesn't even have an opportunity to. I think he's just going to be two steps behind everything Nakamura does on the ground. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. So Nakamura is coming in as a minus 450. And I think it's valid. I think he should be able to coast throughout this fight. And I would like to see him win within the distance. But like I said, Muin is a very good fighter. Great mixed martial artist all around. Good mixed martial artist all around. Let me not get carried away here. But I think he can make it a little more competitive. But Nakamura should take it. Now, am I going to spend $100 to win? Sorry, am I going to spend $450 to win 100 for Nakamura? Absolutely not. So, no, we're not doing it. Got to look at the prop bets for these guys. Kara Hosa, and I'm going to make a prop bet video, right? Because I'm just doing like money line and the stats. But as we get closer, the prop bets start showing, the odds start showing, and then we could decide what we're actually doing. And again, if you subscribe to my content and my gambling and betting subscription, you're going to get a better idea of what we're doing. All right, Kara Hosa versus Eileen Perez. For those of you who watch my videos, I am not an Eileen Perez fan. Never have been. I think she's overrated. But somehow she's grappling with these women. She's holding them down. She's controlling them, and she's submitting some. Even though I don't think she's that good. I think she's so overrated. I think she's a little obnoxious, but this isn't a personal thing. Carol Hosa, definitely the better striker. I think if she could stop the takedown, she should coast to a victory as well. But if Eileen Perez takes her down, I think Eileen Perez has good value because she's coming in as the underdog, which I thought was a little absurd. I thought this should be a pick 'em, but plus 145 for Eileen Perez. Carol Hosa, the better striker, in my opinion, the one who's going to dictate this fight and where it goes, coming in at minus 190. Now, I do think Carol Hosa wins this fight. I am staying with her. I thought she'd be an underdog, but I do believe if you're an Eileen Perez fan or you trust her grappling or her takedown offense, I think you should go Eileen Perez. But I don't think it's going to be there. I think Carol Hosa is going to be able to evade it, and I think Carol Hosa wins by decision. Grant Dawson, Diego Ferrera. Grant Dawson, a lot of people find him boring, don't like his fight style because he's going to come, he's going to take you down, and he's going to control you for 15 minutes. We've seen it time and time again. Now, Diego Ferrera. The problem with this guy is that he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I believe he's a black belt. And I think he's going to be able to get crafty on his back. And that is the only thing I think that's going to make me doubt Grant Dawson at all in this fight. He's coming in as a minus 325. I think it's warranted. Ferrera's a plus 220. But Diego Ferrera, there's some underdog value here because if he gets crafty with his submissions, he could find something. And with his black belt, if he's able to evade these grappling exchanges or we're able to have some good scrambles, he's able to get back to his feet. Grant Dawson starts kind of running out of gas a little. Now the striking department, I think Diego Ferrera kind of has an edge. So this fight, even though Dawson it should be straightforward because we're used to seeing the same thing. Take him down, control him, put him up against the cage, and just wait for the bell to ring. But maybe it's not that simple. And that complex doubt I have is what kind of is leaving me from adding Grant Dawson into like a parlay because at these odds, I don't like it. But Grant Dawson by decision, there's probably good money there. I think that's the most realistic prediction for me for this fight. Next up, Zachary Reese, Circuitus Dumas, Cedricus, whatever. Mr. Dumas over here. Zachary Reese is a better mixed martial artist. Dumas is an early prelim fighter. If you want to debate something, another opinion might be he shouldn't even be in the UFC. But what I will say about Dumas is he's getting better. Another thing I'll say about Dumas is that he's clueless when he's grappling. So Dumas, crafty little fighter. He gets scrappy. He could get dirty with you. I'm okay with his striking ability. But against Zachary Reese, I need somebody who knows what they're doing when they get taken down. And once Zachary Reese takes this fight to the ground, I think Dumas is going to be lost, and I think we could call it quits. I really like Reese within the distance. He's a minus 300 favorite. Dumas plus 210 underdog. Very straightforward fight. Reese, take him down. Get to work. Look for something. It'll be there. It's that simple. Halton Almeida, Sergey Spivak. I think this is my first lock. I think Halton Almeida is just going to coast in this fight. He's going to take Spivak to dark waters, and he's going to drown the shit out of him. Yes, Almeida got knocked out by Blades because of those temple elbows, and he just got busy, wouldn't let go of that takedown. This doesn't happen with Spivak. Spivak, good mixed martial artist. Let's not get carried away here. But Halton Almeida could take down King Kong. And once he takes down Spivak, I don't know if Spivak's going to be able to get anything done from his back. I love Halton Almeida by sub. I think that's the right call. I think it happens rather quickly. I mean, I'm ridiculously confident about Halton Almeida and his comeback. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Blades sucked the juice out of this guy. Pause. But I don't think Spivak, even though we consider him a grappler, I don't think he has anything to deliver in this fight against Halton Almeida. And it's that simple. I love Halton Almeida within the distance. I like him by sub. And his money line, unfortunately, is minus 450. I think I said minus 300. I'm sorry. It's minus 450. Spivak plus 300. I don't think there's any value there. I just don't think he wins this fight. I mean, 14 out of 15 times Halton Almeida wins this fight. Next up, Peyton Talbot, Rony Barcelos. Peyton Talbot coming in as a minus 1,300 favorite. Rony Barcelos plus 650 underdog. What are we doing? Peyton Talbot's good, man. Peyton Talbot's good. I think he's a real prospect. He's coming up. He could strike. He could grapple. He's one of these guys who learned mixed martial arts. He didn't learn how to box or wrestle. He learned to be a mixed martial artist, and that's what we have, a future superstar here. He has everything Dana White wants, and now they're trying to give him a little step up in competition with an experienced veteran in Barcelos, who's like 37. This should be a walk in the park. I just think the age is going to matter. I think he's going to be stronger, faster, a step ahead. He's just that young man energy, moving up in the rankings type of vibe, while Barcelos is on the way out of his career, in my opinion. I think Talbot's gonna just outclass the shit out of him. I gotta see what the odds are for in the distance, but it's probably gonna be something stupid that's not worth it. What I will say, guys, do not bet money line. Do not put Peyton Talbot on a parlay to add 30 cents to it. Don't fucking do that. That's a waste of money. This is at the end of the day combat sports and anything could happen. But don't do it. Minus 1300. Those are just, you stay away from things like that. Next up, Kevin Holland, Rainier the Ritter. Guys, Kevin Holland, for those of you who've seen me, I love Kevin Holland. I think he's very entertaining, but he's that. He's an entertainer. Doesn't come in with his IQ, starts doing dumb shit. He's lost way too many times where he probably should have won the fight, and he's either fooling around or didn't stick to a proper game plan. And I think this is no different. Rainier the Ritter, his UFC debut, there was a lot of mistakes, man. But ultimately, he got the job done. And I think there's a level of maturity that's going to come as he progresses. And this is a level up in competition now that he's going to fight Kevin Holland. But this is just a guy, I think, that's coming into the UFC. He's hungry. He's had success in other organizations. But here he's going to wrestle. He's going to take down Kevin Holland. And Kevin Holland could be sneaky off his back. Kevin Holland could get some jiu-jitsu in this, and he could get things done, and he's coming in as the favorite, but I'm going to lean towards underdog at plus 110. I'm going the Ritter. I think he gets it done. I think he could control this fight. I think he's just going to have the control time, and I think he wins by decision. I think this is very straightforward. Kevin Holland could get it done. Do not get me wrong whatsoever, but I'm leaning Rainier the Ritter. Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano. I could talk about this fight for a while, but what I'm going to say, I'm going to try quick to break this down. Beneil Dariush and Renato Moicano virtually have the same career. You'd argue that Beneil Dariush has gotten close to the title. He's fought tougher competition, and some would probably say he's the more technical fighter or the better fighter. I think that's fair to say. And if this fight were happening 3 years ago, I think Beneil Dariush would have come in as like a minus 400 favorite, and Renato Moicano would have been this huge underdog. But now, later in the career, Renato Moicano's on this run, beats Drew Dober, beats Jalen Turner, even though he was basically flat-lined and almost done. And then he goes to France, and this is the one that's impressive to me. And he beats Benoit Saint-Denis at a main event in France. And not only does he beat him, but Renato Moicano cemented that he's like a real deal grappler who wants to work and entertain us. Like, this guy mounted Benoit Saint-Denis, and he applied so much damage. I think he should write a book about how to grapple and apply damage. That's how all these wrestlers, they all should learn from Renato Moicano. That's how you actively work. That's how you apply offense. Yeah, I'm mounted. You can't get me off me. It looked like Renato Moicano was Benoit Saint-Denis' dad. It looked like a 40-year-old, 250-pound man controlling his 13-year-old son. Just that's what it looked like, a grown man against a little boy. And props to Renato Moicano, because it's hard to do that to a UFC fighter. But he could write a book, and he should show a lot of people that's how you grapple. That's how you bring in offense. That's how you apply damage. And Dana White, I'm sure, loved it. And now he's getting to fight Beneil Dariush, someone who, in my opinion, is on his way out. Someone who hasn't been very active in the last couple of years. Someone who's coming off a tough loss against Charles Oliveira, the top of the division. So if you ask me, when I'm looking at a virtual identical record, very similar time in the UFC, two veterans, who am I going to lean towards? I'm going to lean towards the guy with momentum. Both of these guys are great grapplers. Both of these guys, I'm going to see how they do striking, but I think they're somewhat compatible. But right now, I think all the momentum lies with Renato Moicano. And when you're in the fight game, when you have someone who's kind of throwing in the towel and getting closer and closer to retirement, while the other guy is all of a sudden going for a quick title run, I think you got to go with the guy who's on the run. I don't think you go with the guy who's coming off a loss, the guy who's looked defeated, the guy who's a step away from retirement. So with that being said, I am going with the favorite, Renato Moicano, at minus 210. I think that's fair. I've bet against him a few times last year. I lost that. Hopefully now that I bet for him, it doesn't go the other way, but I think Renato Moicano should be able to take this one. Pretty straightforward. Jiri Prochazka, Jamal Hill. Guys, Jamal Hill has managed to become one of the most hated guys in mixed martial arts, where when he was champion for a second, everybody loved him. Everybody loved, including like Joe Rogan. I remember watching an interview and Joe's like all over this guy. And everybody loves Jamal Hill and his personality and his fight style. I was never on board. I think he was solid. You know, he had a few good knockouts coming up. He beat the shit out of Glover. Glover was on his way out. And then you have Jiri Prochazka, who's this unorthodox guy who's given his life to mixed martial arts, and he will do anything in the octagon, and he's durable, and he's come back from everything. I mean, he got knocked out by Alex Pereira twice. He's just then beats Alexander Ratchik. well, he's still coming off a loss now, but in between that, fought Alexander Ratchik, dogfight, came up, became champion in the 5th round, subbing to Shera. What a way to come up. Like, it was crazy. So I don't understand the appeal for Jamal Hill. He can be dangerous, but either way, I kind of started ranting there. He's become this hated guy in mixed martial arts because he's been such a sore loser with the loss to Alex Ferrera. And to be honest with you, man, I don't see the hype. I think he is the more technical fighter here, but I think Kiri Prochazka is such a dog that I think that he's going to get in there and he's going to get it done. This is a pick 'em minus 115, but I am going Kiri Prochazka. I hope he finishes Jamal Hill. What I will say is that this fight is not going the distance. I'm pretty comfortable saying that. I think someone's getting slept. These are some big dudes hurting each other, and there's a lot of power in this fight. So I think Kiri Prochazka should get it done. I don't think there's going to be grappling. Let's see how he looks, but I am not on Jamal Hill for this fight. Last 2 fights, and this is where it continues the ridiculousness of odds. Merab Devashvili is coming in as a plus 240 underdog. Umar is a minus 350. Guys, Merab Devashvili, like I said earlier, like Tercios, Energizer Bunny, nonstop coming at you, takedown. He'll shoot 50 takedowns in a fight. We've seen it before. Now, the problem is Umar Nurmagomedov could stop those takedowns, or he could take down Merab if he wants to too. This is going to be a high-level fight, and I don't know which way it goes. I think Merab is going to try to grapple, but I think you're almost getting into Umar's world too, because Umar's a superior striker. Merab doesn't want to strike with him, and Merab, in my opinion, has had issues with his chin before. Henry dropped him. There was another fight where he got dropped. That's why I was so hesitant about him and Sean O'Malley fighting. But he's proven that he's getting better. And now with this matchup, I think the odds are a little too far spread. I do agree with Umar being the favorite, but minus 350 is bananas. I think there's like a minus 180, plus 110, like something like that. But with that being said, I think Umar wins. I think any avenue these guys go, I think, again, you have Khabib in their corner. You have Umar Nurmagomedov. If you watch that fight against Corey Sandhagen, you see such an elite level of mixed martial arts. He dealt with a guy who was lankier than him. Some would think he's a better striker. Umar Nurmagomedov is not going to have any problem with Merab. And I just think Merab doesn't have the IQ. Sometimes in there, he wants to be an entertainer, this, that, the other. And maybe he has a dominant position. And I think against Umar, if he makes any mistakes, he loses the fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Umar finishes Merab Devashvili. It's more likely that it goes to decision, but Merab makes mistakes, man. And he's very good. He's very talented. He's strong. He's a cardio bunny. But he eats a lot of shit in the octagon. And against these guys from Dagestan, you cannot eat shit in the octagon. So I hope he's focused. I hope he's not going to eat shit like he did with Sean O'Malley and Henry Cejudo, because Umar will make him pay. And I'm counting on Merab being Merab in there. And I think Umar's going to be our new champion. I think it's that simple. I don't like minus 350, but I do like something of inside the distance. Even though Umar's not the biggest finisher, I think it could happen. Last but not least, Islam Makhachev, Arman Tsarukyan. This is a rematch. Arman Tsarukyan, his UFC debut was against Islam Makhachev. So if that's not enough of a reason to not count the first fight, I don't know what is. Arman coming in as a plus 275 underdog. Islam minus 425 favorite. Quite frankly, I love Islam in this one, but again, the spread is too heavy. Arman is very good. He is very in shape. Look what he did to Charles Oliveira, one of the best grapplers of the division. He held him down for 5 minutes in the last round. Arman found himself in trouble in that fight. He got out of it too. I think Arman Tsarukyan is not going to have striking advantage, but he's going to be very close, and it's going to be very high-level striking. Again, I think this is about which guy makes the mistake. Very even across the board, very even grappling. Arman Tsarukyan may be a little stronger than Islam Makhachev, but then again, those guys, these Dagestani guys are so strong when it comes to grappling and skill. I do think Islam wins. It's that simple. I don't know how. I cannot figure out the path because Arman Tsarukyan looks so good. I don't know what avenue he's going to take. Is he going to try to grapple? If so, is that a good idea? Is he going to try to strike? Islam's been put out before, but Arman also has shown issues with his chin. So this is, again, one of these we're getting to an era of mixed martial arts where everybody's so good. And when we have these guys fighting for the belt, man, they're just so good in every avenue. And I think Islam's going to let the fight come to him. And I think it's the smartest idea. He doesn't need to take a risk. He could play it, just be calm, cool, and collected. This is his biggest threat in the division, in my opinion. Arman's the one who needs to prove himself. He's the one who needs to take risk. And because of that, I think the windows are going to open up for Islam to capitalize while Arman's just trying to secure the belt. That's my opinion. Minus 425 is a little insane, but Islam Makhachev, I think, does win. I think Khabib wins both of his fights. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate all the support always. Be sure to subscribe. I believe that's 13 fights in 20 minutes. Pretty solid, pretty efficient. Let me know what you think below, guys. Always a pleasure.